Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Phil Masiello, the founder and CEO of Crunch Growth Revenue Acceleration Agency, a leading performance-based agency that partners with consumer brands to scale their e-commerce and digital marketing efforts. With decades of experience in building, scaling, and selling successful consumer product businesses, Phil brings an exceptional lens to growth marketing, demand generation, and multi-channel strategy. Phil, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks for having me. That was a good
I'm excited
intro.
that I've been.
Yeah,
I
good job.
always like to start from the beginning. So, can you take us back to before you started Crunch Growth Revenue? What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
The, this is a longer story, and because I never really set out to found an agency, but the background is I grew up in the restaurant business in New York. I was born and raised in New York, and I always thought that was going to be my path. I was going to own a restaurant just like the rest of the people in the family, and that would be it. I went to college in Miami, and I was working in the hotels and restaurants down there, and I realized that that's not really the life I wanted. It's a very difficult life. You get out of work at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, and then nothing good happens at that time of day. After I got done and I went back to New York, I knew a lot about food, so I started a specialty food retail store.
Okay.
And it was an absolute disaster. It was just totally a total disaster. I ran it for 3 years. I probably would have been better off just working at McDonald's. I would have made more money, but I failed at everything. It was a failure of leadership, a failure of process management,
Mm.
and just it was 100% on my shoulders. I was an entrepreneur, and I thought as an entrepreneur, I had to know all the answers. I had to know everything. I had to be the primary decision maker. It was awful. And I feel sorry for the people that worked for me. But I sold the business and I took the money and came down to Maryland. I put myself in graduate school because I thought not that I needed more education, but I needed to think differently about
Mm.
business and about everything. And so that was the reason I did it. And while I was down here, I made a small investment in a specialty food company that had 2 stores and they wanted to grow. And they were more professionally managed. The people that owned it were real estate developers and they got into it because they were building this multi-use community, big, very big, and they wanted a grocery in there, but not a traditional grocery, more of a upscale specialty food grocery. So I got involved with them. And that really was, I think, the turning point for me because I learned about the metrics of business, how to manage business, how to raise capital for business, how to allocate that capital correctly. Because we scaled to 12 stores in the DC marketplace. Plus, we bought a company called Balducci's in New York and Heyday Markets in Connecticut. So we were able to scale that business. And these were larger stores in between a Whole Foods and a grocery store and a traditional grocery store in terms of size. And
Mm.
after we sold that business, I had this other idea for smaller stores and I founded a company called the Daily Market. Along with that, we built a website to sell meals online, which was not being done at the time. And it became appealing to a supermarket chain, and we got acquired by a major supermarket chain. And
Mm.
I wound up having to go to work there for a couple of years. And I'll be 100% honest, I am not a good employee.
Imagine.
I did that. I did my workout for them. And then I did this skincare brand with a woman named Carol Alt. She was a model back in the 80s. And actually, we launched it on the shopping channels, HSN in the United States and the shopping channel in Canada. So we were going up to Toronto or Mississauga every 2 months and going down here. And we got the beauty of that world is that you get a lot of recognition very quickly. You're basically giving up margin for airtime. And
Mm.
of course, we had our own website and we were one of the first brands to sell on Amazon back in 2006 outside of books, CDs, music, and toys and the things that Amazon was controlling at the time. And that was when Bezos opened up the platform to other sellers. And so we were on there and I liked it back then. I liked Amazon selling back then and I thought it was a good place to be. And then we expanded even further and we started getting into retail, Ulta Beauty, Sephora, Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada, and some other places. And then we exited that business. We sold that business after a bunch of years. And I had this idea to do a shaving business. And this is where Crunch Growth comes in. So we looked at that market area for shaving, and really there's only two big brands for shaving, right? There's Gillette, there's Schick. The
Yeah.
rest are really small players that are either low quality or low volume. And so we went, Gillette's never going to do any private label, but Schick, the company that owns Schick, Edgewell, which used to be Energizer's personal care division, Edgewell, they owned Schick, Wilkinson, Persona, and they had a division that did private label. So they were doing private label razors for Amazon, for Walmart, for Target, for everybody. So we went to them and said we wanted to put shaving on online. And they said, look, we're interested because we don't know anything about direct to consumer. We sell to supermarkets, drug channel, mass market, et cetera. So we don't know anything about it. So we'd be interested in helping you do it. And they gave us an exclusive on a product and we launched it. And for us, where we were different was we were more focused because we had this background in beauty products and skincare. We were more focused on the shave cream, the aftershave for both men and women. We were doing razors for shaving for both men and women. And so all those tag along products. So the razors were what captured the attention. And it really didn't matter if we were making a profit on the razors. What mattered is could we get people to buy these other products, which we could. So that was for us the key. That was for us that what made us different is we were focused on the total shave, not just selling a high quality American made razor at a value. It
Yeah.
was this whole we were selling the shave. And that market got very hot. Dollar Shave Club came in, Harry's came in, and everybody wanted to be in the shaving business. And obviously, we had something that everybody wanted, which was an exclusive with an American made razor company, one of the best, one of the biggest. And we were a prime target for people who wanted to buy us. And we had other investors in the company. John Scully was an investor in the company, used to be the CEO of Apple Computer. This is a guy who supposedly fired Steve Jobs. Michael Phelps, the Olympian, was involved in the company, and some others. I didn't have control. We wound up selling, which I thought was premature, but we did what we did. And after we sold, I was in a funk. I didn't know what I wanted to do because I'm very much a consumer product person. So
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about a product next. And Energizer called, or Edgewell called and said, "Hey, we like what you guys did. We're through this acquisition. We're still supplying razors to this company, so we're happy with that. But we don't know anything on our side about direct to consumer, and
Mm.
we'd like some help. We know how to sell to Amazon. We don't know how to sell on Amazon. We have websites, but they're all B2B focused. We don't do anything direct to consumer. So we started getting involved with building those direct to consumer websites and getting them on Amazon and selling on Amazon and selling in other places. And after about 6 months to 7 months of doing that, I still wasn't thinking about an agency. I wasn't thinking myself as an agency. I was thinking about this as a project.
Mm.
And my wife said, "What are you doing?" And I explained it to her. And she said, "Sounds like you have a business there. You just have to
Yeah.
expand it." Because my wife is extreme. She's smarter than I am. But I said, "You're right." And we started bringing on other clients, smaller ones, medium sized ones, anything that interested us, anything where we knew we could help accelerate their growth. Because at the end of the day, we understand how to build consumer brands. We understand consumers very well. But we don't want to take on everybody because there's a lot of brands out there that think they're brands, but really their mentality is more of a seller. They think ads are going to do it. They think if they come up with a cute tagline, they're going to be able to grow, and that may
Yeah.
get you far, but at some point it's going to end. So we're very specific about who we go after. Anyway, so that's how we started Crunch Growth. So I never planned on doing it, but at the end of the day, we've been doing it now for 12 years, and I love it. I love what we do, how we do it, who we do it for. I think that it's every day I wake up, it's a new challenge. Things change in the marketplace, ad platforms change,
Yep.
AI has brought in a new twist to it. SEO changes. And so for us, it's a good challenge. We certainly aren't doing the same things we were doing 12 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago. Every day we're doing something a bit different. And because if you go back, I left out a part about the razors. We were heavy on television. We did a lot of television advertising. But if you go back to the shopping channels and television, what we understood from doing that was how to use video to sell, how to use video as a medium
Mhm.
to sell, because the shopping channels, that's what they're doing, right? They're communicating with an audience on the other side of a camera, selling them a product. And so we have this background in understanding how to do that, how to script, how to present, how to do the whole thing. And that has served us well today with what we do, which is a lot of short form, long form video. Some we do in-house, some we outsource to some houses that are specialists in doing really high quality 4K video, because we do, in addition to the traditional advertising channels like Meta and Google, et cetera, we do a lot of work on the demand side platforms, and we also do a lot of work on connected TV, on OTT channels, and things like that. So that really has helped us differentiate ourselves over the last couple of years from anybody else, because nobody has that pedigree. Nobody can say that they were scaling businesses on the shopping channels and things like that.
Yeah, it's powerful. Thank you so much for breaking that down. And that's an amazing story. So you've been part of multiple different exits. Let's fast forward to today to give the listeners more context onto Crunch Growth specifically. Who would you say is your ideal customer at that agency? Who do you love to work with? And then from there, what are the different offers and services that you provide?
Yeah, we love to work with brands. We only work with brands. So we love to work with brands, but people with a brand building mentality. And it doesn't matter to me whether you're small, $1 million, $2 million a year, but you have that scaling idea in your head and you know where you want to get to, but you're thinking about building a brand. You're not just thinking about selling product. And there is a difference in your thought process. So
Yeah.
for us, brands that want to scale and could be a $5 million, $10 million, $20 million brand. It doesn't matter to us. But if we find it interesting and we find that the people that are there are interesting and they're willing and accepting to listen to ideas, because if you, again, when we approach things, when I say to somebody during a strategy call, hey, this is where I think we should do it, I'm explaining that based upon my past failures, because yes, along with these exits, there's probably 6 failures behind me that I could talk about in different categories. So we've learned tremendous amount over time about how to scale a business, what not to do, what missteps you're going to face. And
Mm,
so they have to be open to listening, number one.
yeah.
Number two, they have to really have a clear definition of where they want to go and what that brand stands for. If you come to us and you say, "Yeah, I'm building a brand, but really what I want is I want you guys to run ads," we'll walk away, because ads are not always the
Yeah.
answer. And
Fair enough.
if you don't have any point of difference, if you're going to sit there and say, and we'll say, what makes you different? Why is somebody going to buy your product over anybody else? And they'll say, my quality is better. Okay, that may be, but quality is subjective. So what else do you have? What else? Because if you just run ads saying we have better quality popcorn, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to care, and then you're going to get frustrated with us. We're going to get frustrated with the phone calls from you saying the ads aren't working. And those are the people. One of the biggest red flags we have when we interview a prospect is when they start talking about, we've gone through 4 different agencies and none of them could get the job done. That's a red flag. What that means is it's not necessarily the agency's fault. It's, what are you communicating and what are you trying to communicate? If
100%.
I
Yeah.
don't have anything to work with, then there's no sense in doing the
Sure.
business.
For sure. Can you briefly help us understand how do you work with these brands? So what does a typical client engagement look like? Do you guys handle the ads? What else do you handle? Walk me through that.
Yeah, we're a full service agency. So we handle strategy if necessary. We handle coaching if necessary. I do that side of it. I have a separate thing. And we handle creation of short form video. We hand some of it in-house, some of it we work with a partner to do, long form video. We'll do television commercials, connected television commercials for bigger screens. We'll script it. We'll script it with the brand. We'll get somebody to punch it up and make sure that it's memorable. We manage social media, a full platform. We'll do that. We'll create the content. We do Amazon advertising. We used to do Amazon management, but we pulled away from that and do more just focused on the advertisement placement. So our biggest driver of, say, revenue is advertising placement, whether it's
Got it.
on Meta, Google, connect on the demand side platforms, programmatic advertising, all that's our biggest driver. Our second biggest driver is social media and using social media to connect with an audience, to connect the brand with an audience, and more of a soft sell. Yes, we do advertising, but your social media today has the opportunity for you to really connect with your audience. And then we
Got
do
it.
Amazon and those types of things. Yeah, that's,
Awesome.
you know,
Yeah. Let's shift a little bit to the back end of the business. So when you're looking to acquire more customers for your agency,
yeah.
what does that process currently look like?
Yeah, it's a different and unique process. I have a virtual assistant that I'll say, these are the 30 clients that I want to go after. These are the 30 prospects I want to go after, and here's why. And each one I'll write where I think we can help them. Then she'll do the legwork primarily on LinkedIn, and she'll find the right person to do it. And then we have a script that we've created over the years to go after that person, but we do it in a way that's not the traditional way. Traditional outreach, cold outreach, things like that. It's you have the guy sending out emails and that's all about volume, right? They set up 12 different URLs and they start blasting out emails to everybody with these messages. We don't do that. We didn't do it in the beginning. We're not going to start doing it now because it just doesn't, it's not us and it doesn't work. It's not authentic. I say, they say, oh, we'll get you 10 calls a week. Yeah, of course you will because you're sending out 12,000 emails a week. And even a blind squirrel will get a nut every once in a while. But so for us, it's more targeted. It's very targeted, and I'll see these brands, or the people who work with me will see these brands in different places, and I'll say that's really something. They really have something unique, and we can help them. And we'll send them an outreach and explain to them why we think we can help them, but we'll give them something tangible. So it's a longer, more in-depth process, but it yields better results for us because
100%.
we're looking for people who will stay with us for years.
Yeah.
We're not a burn and churn agency. We want to help a brand scale. There's nothing that we love more than taking a brand from 5 million to 50 million or 10 million to whatever, 100 million. That sort of, for us, is the greatest thing. And that takes time. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
scale 10 million to 50 million or 10 million to 100 million in 2 years. It's just not going to happen.
It's interesting you bring that up because earlier this week I had a gentleman on who had a very similar strategy where it was more targeted and more tailored. And he expressed many similar things as to what you just said. But he also told me that he gets frustrated because it's not always the most predictable. It's not always the most consistent form of getting clients. So I'm curious if you've experienced that and how you've navigated that.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's not the easiest thing. The process that we've honed in the two things. One, I'm fortunate in that I have a bit of a pedigree, right? People look at me and they see I've written 4 books, I've done this, I've done that, I've got a show. So I've got a couple of different ins, right? I have a network of people that I know. But usually like I said, when we reach out like that, we have something tangible. We're giving them a plan. We're saying, hey, look, I'd like to discuss this. We saw you here, and I know you have an agency that's doing your advertising. We see your advertising, and that's fine. But here's where we think you can get to. And everybody who's you're the CEO of a company doing 5 million and you're stuck there and somebody comes along and says, I can get you from 5 million to 10 million over the next 2 years, you're going to stop and listen. If nothing else, you'll get on a call. Now, will we land them on that call? Maybe not. It may take 6 months. They may call us back in 6 months and say, yeah, I gave this agency their time, but they're not doing it. And it's almost predictable. But what they do appreciate is the traditional outreach approach today and a little shameless self-promotion. I just wrote this book on the why behind the buy, and it's not just for why people are going to buy your product, but it's why are they going to do business with you in general. And too much. I get on LinkedIn every day or my email, and I just get flooded with these mindless outreach pieces. I can 10x your business overnight. I can do this. I can do that. But I don't know you and you don't know me. So how do you know you don't know anything about me or what I've done or what I know. You don't know anything about my business, but you're already coming out with these grandiose statements that you can 10x my business. Have you thought about using AI chatbots? Yeah, about 4 years ago, we started using AI chatbots, but now you just discovered the wheel and you're going to pitch to me that we should do business with you. You have to connect with somebody beforehand. So the way that we connect is we're doing more of a soft touch outreach. It's more directed. It's definitely focused on them, not
Yeah.
focus. They can tell from the message that they get that it's tailored to them specifically. And so it's not an AI driven platform. It's not it is automation, but it's not the way that they normally
Yes.
see it. So they're
For sure.
more apt to listen. And then they may come back and say, "Hey, I have some questions." And then we may get into a dialogue. And then we're connected on LinkedIn. And then once I see them post, then we'll respond on their posts. So by the time we ask for a meeting or ask for a phone call, they feel like we know each other. We've given a lot, and all we're asking for is a 30-minute phone call, which they're more apt to give you. And then once
Yeah.
we're on a call, then we can show them specifically why we think we can take them from here to here.
That makes perfect sense. And I completely agree with you. The traditional methods are far less likely to be effective in today's world. And you need that tailored approach. But I also think predictability is super important in a business and building consistency when it comes to lead gen.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm super curious. When you think of your vision and where you want to take the company, let's say over the next 12 to 24 months, what specific revenue targets, performance targets, what are you aiming towards?
We'd like to double the size of the company over the next 12 to 24 months. What, and the reason is what we're trying to do is generate more longer term brands. And the reason is I don't do day to day. I know this is going to sound stupid, but I don't do day to day work. I'm not, I can tell you that I am not creative. I can strategize. I can tell you what the ad needs to say. I can tell you what the ad needs to get across, but I need people that can get that across. I have people that have been with me for the entire time, 12 years. And at some point in time, you have to make a decision. There's a guy out there, Vern Harnish. He's written Scaling Up and The Rockefeller Habits, and he's a brilliant strategist. I've known him for a really long time, 30 years or so. And he said, from the day you start your business, you should set your business up to exit. Now, what
Mm,
does that exit look like? It doesn't matter, but you should set it up so that to exit. And what he really means is don't be tied to it so that it becomes your personality or becomes part of your being. And so for me, I want to build it so that the foundation is enough to carry forward for the people who work for me, that they are in a position where they can acquire it, maybe, rather than me just selling it outright from under them because they put in so much time. Because there's going to be a point in time where I'm going to want to step back from day to day. Listen, I'm not saying I don't work every day. I work hard every day. I work 8, 12, 10 hours because I love it. It's not because we have to. I actually love what I do. But at a certain point, I'm going to want to maybe pull it down to 3 days a week or 2 days a week or
yeah.
whatever. And so I want to be able to know that they're not going to be in trouble. They're not going to have trouble with cash flow or payroll or any of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Do you have a hard stop at the 30-minute mark?
today. No.
Okay, okay, cool. Because there's a couple more things I would love to go
Yeah,
through you
sure.
with you with. Walk me through, with that vision in mind, what do you feel are the biggest or is the biggest challenge you're facing right now?
Oh, time. No question about it.
Mm,
Time. There's only so much I can do in one day.
for sure.
And then we have a staff and they're busy. We've got clients and we've tried we've tried outsourcing. We do outsource for certain things. Like I said, video production, high quality video production for TV or programmatic ads, things that require a finer touch, we outsource. And we've got long-standing relationships with
Yeah.
people. We've tried we don't do SEO anymore. We used to, but it's just, again, it's not as creative as we like to be. And so we do outsource a lot of that. So we can take on certain things, website development. We do a lot of it in-house, but when it comes to big stuff, we outsource it. But when it comes to just day-to-day time, there's only one of me, and I'm the one who pretty much will lay out what companies, the exact companies I want to go after. And I have, like I said, I have a virtual assistant that I give that to, and then she takes care of starting the messaging and starting the outreach and then to get them on a call. And I'm the one generally who gets on a call with some other people. But just because I have the concept in my head of what I saw in them. Uh,
Yes, and how
so
you can truly help them. And especially with your background, it probably definitely increases the chances of closing.
yeah,
If you were talking to new agency owners, because I have a lot of agency owners that listen to this, and they're looking to get started in 2025, what words of wisdom or pieces of advice can you give them for them to really get their agency off the ground and consistently get clients?
you have to have a good workflow. You have to have a good automation tool workflow to know what you're going after. But the first thing before you even start is pick your lane, figure out what who you want to go after. Like for us, again, it's consumer product brands, and I understand that's a bigger category. There's guys out there that just go after gyms, or there's guys that go after restaurants or things like that. Pick your lane, figure out who you want to go after because you can't go after everybody, and you have to figure out what you're good at. For us, we go after consumers because we understand how consumers think. We understand how what attracts them, and we've been doing that for almost 30 years. So for us, that's so you have to pick your lane. And then the second thing is, once you pick your lane, figure out what you want to be good at. Is it because maybe you want to be good at one piece of the puzzle and you can outsource to partners some of the other pieces of the puzzle. We outsource all the Amazon work now that we get for listings and
Yeah.
management of listings because we just want to take care of the ads. So, you that's what my advice would be because you can't do it all and you don't want to continue to have to build huge staff. So you
Yep.
figure out what you want to be good at and then go after that part.
Awesome. And for the people that are interested in working with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
You could reach out on crunchgrowth.com. You can reach me on philmasiello.com. You could reach me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. You could reach me on any social channel. They're all Phil Masiello. So if you Google me, I'm very accessible. So you can reach out a million different ways.
Awesome. Phil, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to reach out to Phil, crunchgrowth.com. Just Google him. You can easily find him. And if you are a business owner and you're looking to scale your business and you're really looking to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.